Today I am in New Plymouth on the west coast of the North Island of New Zealand, and I am with Dave Allen. Dave Allen has been searching the local landscape for fossils for many years. So Dave, I'll be asking you a few, to perhaps show us some of your specimens, some of your findings, and tell us a little bit about what the journey of discovery that you've been on with fossils.
Cool, yeah. Well, Julian, growing up on the south coast of England, known as the Jurassic Coast, I kind of was pushed into fossils as a young kid at the age of eight or nine, and then coming to New Zealand in the early 70s, I didn't think New Zealand really had much until I had an injury in about 2000, and while lying in bed, I thought, well, to get physical again, I need to go and do some walking and stuff. And so out walking, I started finding fossils and did a bit of research and found more and more. And Taranaki has some amazing fossils. I will collect anything that I can carry home. This was one of the first ones I ever found on the beach when I first arrived in New Zealand. Dug it out of the bank, peeled the shell off, and that was what was left. Without polishing it, it came out shiny. But I could go to the beach and I will find things like fish. I would break a rock open, and in this rock is a skull of a fish and a bit of backbone. And these white pieces that you can see here in the brain of the fish are actually fossil otoliths, which are the ear bones. There's a scapula of a seal, a scapular shoulder blade, and then we have things like this. It is actually a shark vertebra, a big shark. And there's a fish up here on the top shelf, a little puffer fish that hasn't been identified yet. It's a new species. Most of these rocks from the Taranaki area may be 5 to 8 million years old. You can go further afield and you can find stuff that's way older. Also in my drawers I have lots of different pieces. So this is a tooth I found down the South Island. It was in a shelly rock just like that, and I cracked the rock open and there's the tooth. It was sitting inside like that. It's like King Arthur, Sword of the Stone. This one here is very special. It's a dolphin disc or vertebra disc, and on that disc was an ear bone of a dolphin. But Taranaki's well known for its monstrous crabs. These crabs are some of the biggest around, and Taranaki has an amazing variety of crabs. We have little spider crabs to other normal crabs. These claws come from a paddle crab. They just come straight out of the rock like that. The crabs are what got me started, really. I read an article in the newspaper saying that a woman had found a crab out at Mount Damper, and that was it. I was in the car that weekend out to Mount Damper to find stuff, and it took me years to find one, but I find them all the time now. And there's another big one with a big claw. Good hobby that keeps me out of trouble. So this space here is my little workshop. I try to keep the dust to a minimum because dust is everywhere. I have lights to light up my area. This is what I've been working on recently, which is a little crayfish. These are the concretions I find. Mainly grey boulders with white shells and stuff sticking out of them. That's the telltale mark I'll look for. And when I do crack them open and have a look, what we have in here is, you can't tell just yet because I haven't really done any work on it, but that is the face of a vertebra of a little whale. This is the top of the vertebra, and this and here and the other part of the rock has the top part of the vertebra on it. It will end up like, there's a bit like that. It's the same type of vertebra. I use an air tool. These work very similar to like a tattoo gun, but instead of putting ink in, taking rock away. And I also use a Dremel. It spins with a blade on. I can take away little pieces of rock at a time, small layer by small layer. So this is a penguin which I've been working on, which I found recently on the beach. I have other penguin bits and pieces here which I use to identify these. This is the humerus of a little blue, and this is the humerus of the penguins we're finding. You can see how the little blue is quite a bit smaller than this penguin, which is a medium-sized penguin. These are all things I found on the beach. I use them to identify and place fossils I find. So say this here, which is a dolphin vertebra, it would have been somewhere in around that part of the skeleton. So I can look at my fossils and identify where they were in the actual skeleton. I also have albatross, petrels, seals. When you're collecting stuff and finding stuff on the beach, you should always treat it with a bit of respect. I also record GPS coordinates of where I find them and where they were on the beach. They are of scientific interest, and in the future anyone can look at this stuff and use it in research. All around the world people are interested in stuff from here. It's one of the best places for finding marine mammals and birds anywhere. New Zealand is full of fossils. You just need to get out there and do a lot of walking and a lot of luck.
Yeah. Thanks very much, Dave.
No worries, thank you.
Awesome.